Hello, Prince of Picks. Maybe the third time is the charm here today at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. We had a fantastic day yesterday. An incredible college football game between Indiana and Miami. Just an absolute incredible game where we got to see some incredible top-notch defense. Also happy to say we swept the games yesterday, 2-4-2. I had Indiana first half money line parlayed with the full game money line. That came in. We also had Indiana money line in the total over 42 and a half, which you were able to actually get at even money yesterday. But anyway, Prince of Picks, you here? How you doing?
What's up, man? Yes, third time's a charm. We finally got this going, so we're all good now. Bear with us, guys. We're a brand new podcast here, so we're still trying to get some of the kinks out of the way. But yeah, man, definitely had a good day yesterday. NBA was a little hit or miss, but it happens. But good call last night, by the way, on the Indiana halftime full time. It was a little bit of a sweat, but it definitely cashed. So that's all that matters in the end. So another winning ticket for us. And curious to see what are your thoughts about the game? What do you think about that game last night?
Yeah, I mean, I think Miami could have been the better team if they just ran the ball from the get go. But then again, Indiana's defense, both defenses were really so impressive. My wife was looking at me while I was cheering defensive stop after defensive stop. And, it wasn't really until the end of the third, fourth quarter where Miami started getting the run game going. We just saw some, real power. But I mean, just an amazing game. That's what we can come out to see real tight, close football. And I think we really got to see the two top teams in the league. Everyone was disappointed that Notre Dame didn't make it, but you know what? Miami showed us last night why they deserve to be in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think we saw a lot of future NFL defenders out there. I mean, that was some smash mouth football. So anyone who likes old school ground and pound type of football, that's exactly what we got last night. So yeah, man, it was an entertaining game in terms of the closeness of it and the competitiveness of it. Miami kept coming back every time you thought Indiana was going to blow it out. Miami found a way to get back in the game. So really fun game to watch. And again, most importantly, we cashed out our tickets. So, good times all around. But yeah, man. Anyway, we got a interesting slate of games today. We got a lot of soccer games going around the world. Of course, we got Champions League going on. We got some other domestic leagues as well. And then of course we got the NBA tonight. You got anything for anything for today? Do you want to get us started off with?
Yeah, and Drew, we'll bring you in just a minute. Let us go through our best bets of the day, and then we'll start bringing people in. I really appreciate you being in here. You were here yesterday as well. Also, Gary, shout out to you. But yeah, we have an incredible Champions League day today, and you're going to bring us in. But I actually posted this last night. I had a play on the day. Club Bruges over team total over 1.5. Parlayed with Man City team total over 1.5. The first leg just cashed, so all we have to do is wait till 12:45 for the Man City game to start. We'll be able to see if that gets going too. So Prince of Picks, bring us in. I got one more play for the UCL, bringing in after you, the head of our soccer division.
All right, sounds good. So, yeah, I was going to start off with the NBA, but since we're talking soccer right now, I'll go ahead and start off with soccer. But I'm actually going a little bit off the cuff here. Everyone's focused on the Champions League, but like I said, we do have other domestic leagues going on as well today. And I've got my eye on a game in the English Championship division. So we got a 3 p.m. Eastern kickoff here where Wrexham is going to be hosting Leicester City. When we're looking at the details in this one, Wrexham, they come into this one undefeated in 12 of their last 15 at home. Meanwhile, on the other side, Leicester enter this one winless in 10 of their last 15 away. So you got an informed team here at home in Wrexham. And I like Wrexham here on a draw no bet. It is at minus 150. It's slightly juiced, but considering the trends here and considering the data, I'll take Wrexham to win at home. They're the informed team at home, and I'll get push insurance against the draw. I'll take that all day here against a Leicester side that has been struggling away from home this season in the Championship League. So that's going to be my first play here. We got Wrexham, draw no bet, minus 150. You got any thoughts on that at all?
No, not at all. But like I saw the documentary, so why? I love watching Wrexham. What
Yeah.
what time is the game going off?
Yeah, it's at 3 p.m. Eastern, so it's also on Paramount Plus. So I know most everyone's going to be watching probably Golazzo channel on Paramount Plus. I know I will be, but I'll have this one on the second screen. Again, it's also on Paramount Plus. So good thing with that app is you can have multiple screens open at the same time. They don't like lock it or anything like that. So I'll definitely have both of those on the
How
screens.
how many screens do you got?
Yeah, so yeah, good question. Yeah, so all right now I'm kind of rigged my way up to I would say 3.5 screens. I got an old laptop that kind of sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So if I'm lucky, I'll be able to stream a game on that one. That'd be like my fourth screen. But otherwise, I got just the TV, the iPhone, and the iPad. So three regular functioning screens and one 50/50 screen.
That's hilarious. My wife made me take down the other two screens that I had.
Yeah, I feel for you.
All right, bring us in. You got any other soccer picks for us? Do you have anything on? I
So
just want to hear your thoughts on at least Man City.
yeah, so
Like,
I
what is
so
the deal with them? They just got destroyed by Man United just a few days ago.
yeah, right. So I mean, Man City, of course, they're in a smash spot today, right? Taking on a Bodo team that hasn't won yet, in the Champions League. Really struggling this season. Champions League is too bad because last season, or last Champions League, they were one of the Cinderella teams, but this time around, they're just just don't have the same type of chemistry, I guess, or maybe the same type of luck as they had last season. But in any case, here you do have a Man City team that is coming off of that embarrassing loss against Manchester United. I would call it embarrassing because United obviously they're not what they used to be, and that's a derby, and you don't want to lose that ever. So when you're Man City, you're sitting here, you're fighting for Premier League championship potential. I mean, they're pretty far back now, but at the time they were somewhat had a chance, but. Going into this one here, I think both teams score. I do think Bodo can get on the board here against a Man City team that has been conceding fairly regularly. The teams don't like to go up to Bodo Glimt there in the Norway, the kind of the Arctic region there, the Nordic region, on artificial turf. Teams hate playing on artificial turf, so it's going to be cold up there. They still have a great home field advantage, even though they really haven't taken advantage of that this Champions League. But I still think they're in a good position here to at least score a goal. So I'm actually going to take both teams to score and over 2.5. I think we see a lot of goals in this one. But I struggle to take Man City. I know pretty much everyone that I've heard is on Man City. But I don't know. I mean, there's something about them. It concerns me. There's some level of inconsistency that I see from them that I'm just not fully ready to back them yet, even against a team like Bodo Glimt. So I feel way more comfortable taking just both teams to score over 2.5 in that one. Got anything for that?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said before, I had Club Bruges team total over 1.5, and then I took Man City team total over 1.5, expecting. I don't know what to expect on defense. You're right; they concede. They have been shaky, but the offensive talent is there. They have the shots on target. They have all the expected metrics show that they are still a powerful top tier offensive team. So I do lengthen to bounce back here in the Champions League, where maybe they are remotivated to kind of stick back to basics, get back to that short passing game that they are so talented and known for. And yeah, try to get something on the board. I do think that they win, but I am not going to risk that. I thought it was just safer just to take a half unit on team total over 1.5. Yeah, got some other plays on the UCL. Want to give you a chance first. Bring us out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a couple other games I'm looking at here. Inter Milan taking on Arsenal. This one's a little bit tricky because Arsenal don't really have anything to play for. They're pretty much locked in for the knockout stages. So, it's going to be interesting to see what exactly kind of lineup Arsenal puts out here because this weekend, I believe I checked this. I forgot who they're playing, but it's a big game this weekend in the EPL. So they might be more focused on that. But they got Man United. They got Man United this weekend, so you could see maybe a little bit more attention being paid to that game as opposed to this one here, considering where they stand in the standings here in the Champions League. Meanwhile, Inter Milan, they have a little bit more to play for. I mean, they are at the home here as Inter Milan, so I'm going to take Inter Milan here on a draw no bet. Again, I like to push insurance here just in case. I do think we probably see a low scoring game. So, Inter games, Arsenal games tend to be a little bit on the more lower scoring side. So if you want to play like an under 2.5, I wouldn't hate that. But for me, it's a little bit of a tricky one, but I'll take the home team in a little bit better form here in terms of the Champions League. I will take Inter Milan on a draw no bet. Anything for you on that?
I think the under is definitely the play, and if you can get a draw no bet in a lower scoring game, that's the same thing as taking the points in football in a lower scoring game. I like the pick, and I think it's the right move.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, and then another one here. These are a lot of these are going to be VIP plays, but since we're we'll give them out here as a celebration of our inaugural debut podcast here. So
As, as Coach
let's
would say, give it to me.
I got you. So another one I'm looking at here. We got Olympiacos, who's going to be hosting Leverkusen, Bayer Leverkusen. Leverkusen coming to this one in really poor form. They've been conceding goals left and right. Something's just not right with this team. And they're just a fade for me right now. Until further notice. I don't know what it is, but they're struggling to score goals and they're struggling to keep clean sheets. So you got an Olympiacos team that is in form in the Greek Super League. Now you can say what you want about the Greek Super League, right? Obviously not one of the top leagues in Europe, but they're winning games, and so I'll take Olympiacos here in a game that, if we look at the table here, if you just give me a second, I'll pull up this table. I think this game actually means a lot more to Olympiacos than it does Leverkusen. Yeah, Olympiacos right now, they're on the outside looking in, trying to get into the top 24. So a win here for Olympiacos would see them into the top 24. Meanwhile, Leverkusen, they're a little bit on the fringe right now. So a loss won't kill them, but it will hurt them a lot. But again, I'm just going with the team in form here. I like Olympiacos. I don't trust Leverkusen right now. And getting push insurance, that's the preferred play for me. So I'll take Olympiacos here on a draw no bet against Leverkusen.
Yeah, I think that's also a phenomenal play. I actually looked at this for maybe a both teams to score or maybe a over 1.5 total goals in a parlay piece, but I looked at my model and Olympiacos has over a 40% chance of winning this. And again, this is a three-way model. It takes in both sides and the draw, which is also coming in at around 30%, which leaves Leverkusen at under 30% win percentage. I think Olympiacos is definitely the play. And you're right, Leverkusen is just so inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get day in and day out.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, and then I got a couple more here. I'll go ahead and give out here. So we're gonna look at Tottenham and Dortmund, or sorry, excuse me, Tottenham hosting Dortmund here. This is another case where you got two teams going in opposite directions. Tottenham, under the new manager here, Thomas Frank. I mean, they've really. He's really got them playing as if they were a championship level team, just trying to survive in the Premier League, right? I mean, he's got them playing so negatively, so conservatively that the fans are over it, and I think it's starting to show in their lack of results. And so you got a team here that's just it's funny because they went from the extreme opposite, right? They went from Ange Postecoglou, who was kamikaze style, and now they go the complete opposite in the ultra conservative style. So I think for Tottenham, they need to find some kind of middle ground where they're able to showcase their talent. I mean, this is a talented team. You look at the roster; they got stars all over the pitch. This is not some like Norwich or Burnley that we're talking about here. This is one of the cream of the crops here of the Premier League. So they're a team that needs to be able to showcase their talent, but at the same time, you don't want to take unnecessary risks. So going forward, they'll need to probably need to make a managerial change at some point. But under Thomas Frank, I can't back them right now. Dortmund's in really good form. They've actually scored, I believe, 2+ goals in 5 of their last 6. If I'm not mistaken. So if you want to look at a Dortmund team total over 1.5, that's one play that could potentially be of some value. But for me, again, I'm going with the draw no bet angle here. I like the value on it. It's going to be Dortmund for me on a draw no bet. And I believe that should be at around minus 120.
Nice. Yeah, nice. I did flirt with a Dortmund team total over. And again, I like taking my parlay pieces in the Champions League and soccer in general. I don't like to get over 1.5 goals. If I can get one and parlay it with another one, that's good. But I definitely think Dortmund is the play. And you know what's really disappointing about Dortmund is that in the years past, both teams to score over 2.5 goals was basically a
Yep.
lock. And that's not true
It's not
anymore.
true anymore. No, you're so right about that. It was an autoplay. I mean, it was just as much of an autoplay as like Barcelona games over 2.5. right? I mean, or Bayern games over 2.5. Like there was just an absolute smash lock. Like you didn't even have to think twice about it. But they're not the same. They've improved defensively, so they don't concede as much as they used to. So it's a little bit harder to play that on a regular basis. But I mean, I could potentially see that. Today I could see a couple, 2, 3 goals in this one. But for me, like I said, I just like Dortmund with the push insurance against a Tottenham team that's just been kind of meandering here through the EPL and through the Champions League. So that's going to be my play for that one. And then one more I got for you guys here is going to be the match between Villarreal taking on Ajax. These are two teams with essentially nothing to play for, right? They're both buried at the bottom here of the Champions League table. Neither one really has any realistic shot of making it to the knockout round. They both have conceded a ton of goals, but they struggle to score. But my angle in this one is usually when you don't have anything to play for, is usually when you see goals. Usually that's when you see teams be a little more risky, take a little bit more chances offensively, because if anything, they at least want to show out for their fans. So, when you're buried at the bottom of the table, having a nil-nil final score, it doesn't really do anything for anyone. So, I think we see a lot of goals in this one. I think both teams are going to go for it. I think both teams, again, with nothing to lose, you might as well try to put on a show here. So I'm going to take Ajax and Villarreal of both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. Like I said, both teams here, they really struggle defensively, keeping clean sheets. So I think both teams to score is definitely going to be a thing that we can definitely look at here. But I also see over 2.5 goals. I think we could see upwards of maybe 3, 4 goals in this one. So that's going to be my play for that. Anything for you on that?
Yeah, actually, this brings me straight into my second play of the day. I agree. I agree. I just think Ajax's defense is worse. So I took Villarreal team total over 1.5, and I parlayed that with Real Madrid team total over 1.5. And I think both of these teams have an amazing chance to score at least 2 goals. And honestly, if I was feeling risky, I'd take both of them, both games over 2.5 goals as well. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, funny you say that. So I guess that segues to one bonus play here. That was going to be my last one, but since you brought up Real Madrid scoring over 1.5, I'm on a similar bet, but I'm going to take Real Madrid minus 1.5. Again, they're playing Monaco. They're hosting Monaco. Monaco is just another one of those teams that's very inconsistent. And I just think the talent for Real Madrid is going to shine in this one. This is just a game that they really need to win, and I think they could win this one convincingly here at home. So, and I also look for Mbappe to have a big game. Remember, he did start his career at Monaco. So this is somewhat of a, I don't want to call it a revenge game, but anytime you're playing against a team that you used to play for, a lot of times you'll kind of step up and step up your level a little bit and try to, kind of show out to the other team. So I like Mbappe here to score maybe even 2 goals in this one, maybe even a hat trick. I could definitely see Mbappe. Any kind of Mbappe props, I'd be on for sure in this one. But officially, I'm going to take Real Madrid here minus 1.5 here against Monaco.
I love when we're in lockstep. I mean, like, I am not really traditionally a soccer bettor, but I like the game, I watch, I look at the odds, I look at the money, I look at the public, and try to figure out a good angle to take in a somewhat safer atmosphere. Not that there is such a thing in this world, but when we're on the same page, it just fills me. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. All right.
Yeah. It's just it kind of flows a little bit better.
All right.
It makes us both feel more confident.
So we have talked about every single game today on the Champions League, except for 2 games. One which I have a genuine question for you, and the other one which I have
Okay.
no idea about. Right?
All right.
Sporting versus PSG. How do we take PSG? I mean, they just lost against their hometown rivals, right, last
Yep.
week. Like,
Mm.
what's going on with them?
Yeah, complacency maybe. The thing with PSG is I think it's the same thing every year, right? Is the fact that in League One, which is the league that they play in France, it's just not a very competitive league, and so I think at times PSG could just kind of get complacent. They can kind of just go through the motions because realistically for PSG, it's Champions League or bust for them, right? I mean, they really get no credit for winning the league on because they're expected to win it, and they usually do. So I think what happens is just during the regular season. I know this was a cup game that they lost to Paris FC, which is a newly promoted team coming from the second division up into League One. Um, across town. Actually, the funny thing about that is a lot of people may not know this. Their stadiums are literally across the street from each other, so they're not even like cross town rivals. They're literally like cross street rivals. It's pretty.
Brutal.
It's pretty amazing. Like literally, like there's a narrow street in between both stadiums, so they're literally right next door to each other. But in any case, PSG, I think they're just one of those teams that sometimes they play down to their level of competition. But in this one here, PSG, I just have a feeling about this one that they're going to come out all systems rolling here against Sporting CP. Now, Sporting, they do need this one a little bit more than PSG does because they're sitting here about 14th place right now as I'm looking at the table here. So a win for them would be a lot more beneficial. PSG, they're pretty comfortable in third place, but you never know. I mean, there's crazy things can happen, and there is two more games. So, you don't want to leave anything to chance. A win for them would absolutely secure their spot into the knockout stages. So I look for PSG personally. My official play on this is going to be PSG -1. I think PSG wins this by margin here, by two or more, against a Sporting CP team that talent wise they're just not on the same level as a PSG here. So I think PSG uses this as an opportunity to right some wrongs, kind of get back on the right track here after that embarrassing loss to their cross street rival Paris FC. So that's my thoughts. You got anything? What are your thoughts? What do you think?
No, I was considering them team total over 1.5 as a parlay piece. I sprinkled on the money line -130. Wasn't excited about it. I'm probably going to try to take their the first half team total over 1 goal, and that once maybe 10-20 minutes pass, you could probably get that at around even money. So that's kind of how I'm looking to attack it. But nothing major for
It's
me.
a
Put
it's a
20 bucks
tricky
on it.
one. It's a tricky one for sure. Yeah, for sure. Of all the games, in my opinion, that's probably for me the most tricky one. So,
Yeah,
take it
just
for what it
major
is.
red flags. So
Yeah.
all right, last game here, and I apologize if we talked about it, but two teams middle to bottom of the rankings: Napoli, Copenhagen. Both these teams, what's going on? Do they have any chance? Are we looking at a higher scoring game here? I mean, Napoli has got to be favored, right?
Yeah, Napoli is slightly favored here. But for me, I'm looking at a low scoring game here. I think both teams are kind of want to enter this one, not taking too much of a risk because they're actually both right around the cutoff line for top 24 to make it into the knockout stage. So I think they're both going to kind of try to play a little bit more conservatively and just see what happens in their final Champions League game. As I'm looking at the schedule here, Napoli. They do have Chelsea as their final game, so that's not an easy one at all. And then we got Copenhagen here. They got Barcelona. So it could be a thing where if they don't play all out here, they may be in trouble going into their last game. But I just have a feeling here Napoli's been struggling to score. And Copenhagen, they're just not a very high scoring team themselves as well. So I'm actually only under 2.5 in this one. I don't think we see a lot of goals here. But this is another really tricky one for me. So probably the PSG one and this one are by far my two most tricky ones.
All right, yeah, sounds good. That's why you have an expert, because I just assumed that if you were kind of on the line of making it, that and you had tough schedules coming up, you would play your heart out to try to get a win here. But you know what? You're right. You're probably going to play cagey and try not to at least
Right.
lose, and preserve your spot. Anything else on the soccer day today before we shift to the NBA?
No, that should do it for me for soccer.
All right, bring us into the NBA. We had Martin Luther King Day yesterday. The Knicks, the amazing, powerful New York Knicks, were down 32 points at various times of that game, and to their credit, they did come back. I think they ended the game close to 12 points, but they still lost. They did not cover that spread whatsoever. I was disappointed. I love the Knicks, and then I get my hopes up, and then I love just gosh darn, come on, man.
I don't know what to say about the Knicks, man. I really don't. I mean, that might have been one of the most shocking results since maybe Philly losing to Denver after the game after Jokic was out. That was a shocker for me. This was probably the second most shocking result that I can think of here in recent memory. So, what's up with the Knicks? I mean, Mike Brown, is he on the hot seat? I don't know. That's a bad loss. That's a bad loss to a team that should not have even been competitive with them.
Yeah,
So,
they should not have let
um,
the coach go last year.
mm,
Like they had a great run.
yeah,
It's like it's
I
not the
agree.
coach. I mean, granted, like you didn't use your bench players enough. Like that's not great. But like, come on, like it was fantastic. You know,
No, I mean,
pump up too.
the thing about it is, when you're talking about an 82 game season, it's very important to have a strong culture, right? Because you're looking at a 6 month, 5 month stretch here where you really need a strong culture. You need a strong tendencies. You need to have some type of a synergy amongst your team and some type of an understanding of what direction that your team is wanting to play. And so I thought Tibbs did a great job of that. People wanted to dog on him and say that he played his starters too much and things like that. But when you actually broke down a lot of the numbers, he wasn't actually playing them that much more than other coaches play their starters. So I think there was a lot of just misinformation, a little bit of bias against him. But I mean that's neither here nor there. I mean he's gone now, and now you got Mike Brown, and they started out good, but they've absolutely fallen off a cliff here lately. A lot of people want to blame Cat for his lack of defense and say that's the reason that that they're losing games. Maybe it's Jalen Brunson being in and out of the lineup, but I mean this team is too good. This team is too good for one injury to derail them like that. So I don't know where they go from here. I do think they should probably consider making a trade. I know Cat's been on the trade table for a while, so we'll see what ends up happening with that. But yeah, man, Knicks are in a rough spot right now for sure, and I'm gonna struggle backing them going forward until I see something different from them. So that
Yeah,
burned me last night. That was rough.
yeah. New York is where the lights burn the brightest. And if you have even something slightly off, it gets magnified to such a degree. It has got to be probably one of the more populous fan bases in all of sports. I mean,
Oh
at least
yeah.
American sports.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I mean, you think of New York teams in general, right? The Yankees, right? The Knicks, of course. Knicks are royalty in basketball, right? The Mecca, Madison Square Garden, right? So it's the NBA is in a better spot when they're good. And not to say that they're not good right now, but yeah, they've hit a wall, and teams do this. It's not the end of the world. I mean, teams go through these stretches usually around this time of year, middle of January, early February. They're kind of the dog days of the NBA. So a lot of times you'll see this, but I don't know if it's too early to push the panic button just yet. But it's definitely concerning. Definitely some cause for concern for sure for the Knicks. So
Yep. Yep. And what happened to Cleveland
yeah,
yesterday? They're
yeah.
supposed to be a
Well,
top team, right?
Well, absolutely, and what the question is, what has happened to Cleveland throughout this whole season? I mean, this was a team that was entering the season, of course, projected to be the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. And yes, they've had some injuries, Max Strus, Sam Merrill, other guys, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, they've been in and out of the lineup, Donovan Mitchell. But that happens to every team, and so you would have thought that the Cavs would have been good enough, talented enough to be able to withstand that. But they've just fallen off a cliff defensively. I mean, this was one of the better defensive teams last year, and I mean, giving up what did they give up 130 something to the Thunder last night? I mean,
Yeah, they
that's
lost
crazy.
by 20 something points
Yeah,
to
well,
the
it's
Thunder.
well, it's one thing to lose by 20 plus points, but it's another thing when you're a defensive team and you're giving up 130 plus to a team that doesn't really hang their hat on the offensive side. It's not like they gave up 130 to some elite scoring team. The Thunder are a good team because the Thunder play defense, right? When you look at the Thunder, you say, "Wow, this team is like they play defense like bats out of hell, right? They're swarming, right? That's their strength. It's not so much on the offensive side." So to give up that many points at home in a nationally televised game, I mean, my God, I mean, what the Cavs are in a rough place as well. I don't know what they can do. I mean, obviously, when shit hits the fan like this, you look for trades as an opportunity, but Man, rough spot for both the Cavs and the Knicks for sure, man.
Yeah. Yeah, bring us into some best bets in the NBA if you have any. No
Yeah,
pressure.
yeah. No, I got a couple for tonight. So,
And then we'll bring in Drew for our college basketball, I'm assuming.
absolutely, for sure. So yeah, so let's go to the NBA here. We got 9 p.m. Eastern tip off. We got the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Utah Jazz. We're looking at the injury report here. It actually has not been submitted at the time of this podcast, so we don't know exactly who's going to be in or who's going to be out. But we do have some trends here that we're going to be playing. So Utah, they are 74% to the over as a home dog. They're also 67% to the over on back-to-backs. Meanwhile, Minnesota on the other side, they are 57% to the over as a road favorite. We're looking at points here. We're looking at a lot of points in this one. Utah, they're the number one scoring team in the NBA at home. They are averaging 124 points per game at home. Meanwhile, Minnesota on the other side, they are the number one scoring team on the road. They are also averaging 124 points per game on the road here. So I do think we see a lot of points in this one. And I think this is going to be a big night for Anthony Edwards. I think he's going to be coming to this one pissed off, having been snubbed from the All-Star starters on the Western Conference. So he's going to come in here with a chip on his shoulder. RIP to the Utah Jazz defense. I think Anthony Edwards, as long as this one stays relatively close, I think he could go for 50 tonight. I really expect a monster night from Anthony Edwards in this one here against the Jazz. So a little bit of a side bet there, but officially here, I'm going to take the game total over 244.5 at minus 108 with two teams that really like to score the basketball here.
Well, okay then. I guess I'm also going to be putting him on my DFS lineup tonight.
Yes. DFS. If you're looking for King of the Court on DK, we got the King of the Court on Tuesdays. I'm going to be playing him for my King of the Court play. I just think, I think everything's lined up for him to just really take advantage of this just terrible Utah Jazz defense. Usually a pissed off Ant-Man is a good Ant-Man. So, yeah, you're going to be backing him for sure.
You took my next segment right out of my mouth, which was going to be the King of the Court promo, and I guess we have our answer.
yeah. I'm on. I mean, I also like Luca. I mean, Luca is always a good play.
Yeah, but you're not going to get much money out of that if he
You're
wins.
not. That's the thing. So I mean, you're not, because I'm sure everyone's going to be on him. So I mean, he could have he's probably in line to have a monster game against Denver. Denver doesn't really play defense at all. But I gotta go with Ant-Man tonight. I like the ingredients here. And so that's going to be my play. I like Ant-Man for me.
Fantastic. I'm in. I'm definitely in with that.
Yep.
All right. Any other NBA plays for
Yep.
us?
So then we got one more here. We got a 10 p.m. Eastern tip where the Toronto Raptors are going to be heading over to the Bay, taking on the Golden State Warriors. Injury report for this one: R.J. Barrett out, Jakob Poeltl out, and of course we all saw what happened to Jimmy Butler last night. Unfortunately, he did tear his ACL, so he
Just
will
brutal.
be out for the season. The brutal injury. Hate to see it. I think it was a non-contact injury. So I saw the highlight of it. It was just really unfortunate to see. But one thing that you will notice, or that I've noticed anyway, is when these superstars go out, you tend to see the role players kind of step up their games and kind of elevate their level of play to kind of compensate for what's missing from the star players. So we saw that in Denver after Jokic went out. We've seen that in other places as well. So I think the Warriors here, despite losing Butler, I think they're in a good spot here against the Raptors. When we're looking at the numbers here, Warriors, they're 59% ATS against the Eastern Conference. Not to mention, they're a little bit on a hot streak right now. They've won 6 of their last 7, have the Warriors. And meanwhile, the Raptors, on the other side here, they're just 20% ATS versus the Western Conference. They're going in the opposite direction. They've lost 4 of their last 6. So I like the Warriors here at home to kind of pick up their level of play here against the Raptors teams that's been struggling here lately. I'm going to take the Warriors here minus 3.5. I'll lay the 3.5 here, minus 110. I think the Warriors could win this one by cover that spread there and pick up their level of play against a Toronto team that's kind of reeling right now.
Well, if they win, they're definitely covering the spread. There is not a hotter shooting team in the NBA right now.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, it's incredible what
Yeah, it is.
yesterday. I was
It
like,
it
can you
is.
not miss?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the other thing, right? Because usually, you're coming off a back to back where you just had that kind of a night. Yeah, at home. Yeah, I think I think everyone's gonna rally around. The fact that Jimmy Butler, everything that happened to him. And I expect a big performance from a lot of the role players here tonight. So,
Yeah, I love it.
yeah,
Feed the
yeah.
public. Feed the
Yep.
public.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. That brings us with our NBA coverage today. We're going to bring in our guest, Drew, for our NCAA. Just take yourself off mute and you're good to go. And just so you know, we are publishing this podcast on multiple platforms, and we had over 30 listens yesterday, which was unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. So
There
I
we go. Yeah, for a brand new podcast, there we go. We're off to a good start.
yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, Drew, hit us off. We can't hear you. Just in case you're speaking, sometimes the Twitter connection goes out. Try one more time to take your out, put yourself on, off, speak one more time, see if it works. All right, Drew. Whenever you get a chance, you just speak up, and if I hear you, I'll stop talking and allow. Oh, there we go. There we go. Sorry. Yeah,
We go.
some
Perfect.
technical issues today, working through it. But yeah, welcome on the show, and thank you for being back.
Oh yeah, I figured I'd speak on my Warriors. First off, I'll say tough day in the Bay. My Niners are hurt everywhere. Jimmy Butler's hurt now, right? The Giants aren't making any kind of moves to compete with the Dodgers. They keep saying they are, but hey, my Sharks are a bright spot, man. We have Macklin Celebrini, but that's one thing I'll say. But to speak on the Warriors, guys, I feel like I have good insight. I'm one of those. Uh, fans with my team where I'm a realist, right? I don't bet on my teams 'cause it's always bad luck. I'm superstitious that way.
100%
I'm
Knicks fan.
because
I try to stay
well,
away.
yeah, because I'm a KU fan, so as soon as I bet on KU, they blow people out. So as soon as I stop betting on them. But for the Warriors, by the way, guys, I watch every game. Something that people that don't factor in is a lot of our role players, like I like Moody, Pajemski, even Guy Santos, like all Will Richard, like they can shoot the piss out of the three, and people are still discovering how to guard Curry because we saw it's funny because we saw what was it? I think it was the Hornets try to do the RDC method of guarding Curry where you just guard him everywhere, and the Warriors scored 135 points. It worked that well. And then you saw the Heat tried a different way of guarding Curry, and they just scored 120 plus. And of course, that way better in the playoffs. But you need to think about also, I think this is the last game of the homestand they have. They're going to want to win this game and they're going to need to win this game. So yeah.
Yeah, good insight. Thank you. And anytime you have someone who's a fan of of a team and watching diligently, is going to be a lot more valuable than someone like me who I watch as a fan, but I am not a specific fan. I'm not watching the player progression throughout the season. I don't understand how everybody fits in. So thank you. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Well, because we're one of the top 3-point shooting teams, and a key piece. I don't think he's playing. I don't know if DeAnthony Milton's playing today again, but he's been like he has the most bargain contract in the NBA, and no one can argue that because like he does so much for us when he comes off the bench. I think our record with him is insane with Curry, and Curry's playing today, by the way, on a back to back. He's gonna want to, if you see Curry playing on a back to back, that means he wants to win this game. You know, so
So basically, if we see Curry playing tonight, we're going to take him to score at least 20 points.
yeah, that's something. Usually, they'll have Curry play on a back to back if they feel like they need to win the game. So
Which, by the way, both of my points yesterday in the NBA, which was Tyrese Maxey, he scored 29 yesterday, and my college basketball play, both came through. So not an official place for me, but definitely something that I'm looking at, and something that I was looking at actually this morning. I think it's a great play.
awesome, yeah. So I actually have three college basketball plays. Yesterday, though, the ones I think I said in here, the Towson and UMBC combo hit. Towson had an insane comeback. Shout out to Towson.
Yeah, they won by 1 at the end. That was
Yeah.
pretty incredible.
Well, like they in the beginning of the game, they played very stagnant. They're down, I think it was like 32-20 at half. And I was just like, Towson, what are you doing? You have the best player on the court, give it to him. Their offense is always stagnant, but they came back, grinded through free throws, and UMBC just blew out Binghamton. It wasn't even close the whole way. And then the other one I think I recommended here was George Mason -1.5. That was a great game. It was 69-64, George Mason. So that game was amazing. It was the George Mason versus George Washington. So usually I like to ride those kind of teams where the teams that are running hot, they're 7-1, they're not getting as much respect from Vegas. And then I did one I didn't say in here because I saw there was good value for my AI was Marquette versus Providence. That game was one of the best games of the year. They went to overtime. What was it? Providence, like, that's why I love college basketball. Providence at the end of the game before it went to overtime, they had the ball with like 9 seconds left, up by 3. So it's like, oh, it's probably over. They can foul them. But then Marquette stole the ball. They shot a 3. They missed it, but it was a foul. The guy made all 3 free throws to send it to overtime, and they won in overtime. So
Wow, unbelievable. And honestly, I have a connection to Marquette. I used to go party there in high school. I lived in Milwaukee, and that was the only place near us that you could actually go hang out.
that's awesome. Yeah. It's just crazy to see Marquette not doing well this year because they're always a team that usually does well. So,
But Providence is no small dog either,
no,
right?
they
Like
aren't.
they're I mean, physically they're huge and they've got experience. They know how to rebound, and honestly in college basketball, that's probably
Yeah.
the most important metric that you can look at.
Yeah, and they shoot the piss out of the 3 too. And they have this one guy named Fox. It's pronounced Fox on their team. He's nasty. And Providence was missing their top scorer, Jason Edwards, still. So they're a good team. It's just crazy to see Marquette at 7-13 with Shaka Smart. I think Shaka Smart's doing everything he can with this team, though.
All right. Yeah. Give us any best
Hold,
bets
Yeah.
that
hold
you
on,
got.
hold on, hold on. Sorry, one sec. I gotta give a live update here for my VIPs or my VIPs are listening. Watching this Champions League game, we just had Kairat Almaty score. So it was a sweat, but BTTS has cashed in our first Champions League play of the game. Club Bruges, Kairat Almaty, BTTS has cashed with a last minute goal from Kairat. So
Oh, love those last
let's
minute
go,
goals.
guys. Let's go. All right, go ahead. Sorry, continue
Oh
with your
yeah.
college basketball.
Of course, man. Also, I'm learning from you guys with soccer. I played soccer a lot of my life, but never got into it as much. So I was taking notes for you guys from you guys. But I have 3 really good. There's a lot of good college basketball games. I do a lot of crazy because college basketball you can do a lot of AI research. I like to make sure to correct my AI, factor in elevation and everything. I notice sometimes when you see cappers put out models for college basketball, they just run through the AI, look at the bottom and stuff. But I make sure to do thorough research, like conference and all that through Ken Palm and all that. So to get the exact line. So I like to look at 2 points or more value of line, which brings me to my first pick. This is a mid-major game. Boise State at Wyoming. There's about I think 3 points because the right now the spread in Wyoming and Little Seam. Wyoming's +1.5. My AI says the spread should be Wyoming -2. So that's about 3.5 points of value there. The big factor for this game, guys, is both teams are pretty much even. They counteract what they do. Like Boise State's not great at offense, but Wyoming is pretty good at defending, right? Both teams are really good at getting to the foul line, but also both teams are foul prone. Where the disadvantage for Boise State on offenses, they're decent at shooting the 2 point, but Wyoming is really good at preventing that. And Wyoming is really good at shooting the 2 point, and Boise State's not great. And I think the biggest factor is the elevation. People like one thing that people don't factor in is like playing in Wyoming is so hard. It's 7,200 feet of elevation, and they don't really lose much there. I think they're 9-2 at home this year, and Boise State's 1-3 on the road. They're a different team on the road. Like we just saw Boise State beat Colorado State at home, and they're a good team, but they lost at UNLV, and UNLV is not a good team. When UNLV went to Wyoming, they lost by 30. So the only losses I think was Wyoming had at home were Grand Canyon and I forgot what the other school was, but it was a pretty good school. But I just think overall, because Boise State, yes, it's like 2,800 of elevation, but that's a 4,000 plus elevation difference. That's almost a Denver difference. So I just think that's a big factor here that people aren't factoring in. And to get Wyoming where it's at, I think it's like minus 112 for the money line is really good value. That's my first pick.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I actually have a lean to the over in that game based on very similar thinking. So yeah, I definitely like the play. I think it's going to be close, and I think both teams are going to push each other.
Yep. Oh, and I like your lean to the over. One of the main reasons is Boise State's a little better. Both teams are great at like going to the foul line. Both teams suck at preventing fouls. So that can cause free throws, stopping the clock and stuff.
Yeah, gotta
So
love that when there's 2 minutes left, your total is not hitting, and then they just start fouling each other for basically no reason other than their college
yeah.
basketball. And I mean, one team needs to foul, right, to keep in it, but then the other team's just like, whoops.
It's great for the first half too if you see people getting the bonus like with 10 minutes left.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, bring us into any other best bets you
Yeah.
got. I do have a question for you, but we'll get into that. It's
Yeah.
just right across the street from me, so I got to ask.
Oh yeah, perfect. I have, and then by the way, the ones that I usually bet, and I'll think about ones later. They're usually ones like I'm because like there's like 20 plus games. Usually ones I'm like pretty confident in. Of course, anything can happen, and with kids in college basketball. But my second one I would say is Missouri at home versus Georgia. We've already seen some big line. I mean Georgia at Missouri, but we've seen some big line movement. For my Missouri already. They were minus 105 yesterday. Now they're minus 115. I like Missouri because I don't. Missouri at home is a different animal, and they have one of the best home court advantages in the league. College guys, college basketball, home court advantages for Power Five conference teams matter a lot, right? Especially for. I honestly, as a KU fan, I hate Mizzou, but I have to admit they're like close to Allen Fieldhouse, but Allen Fieldhouse is number one. But Missouri, we saw Missouri beat Auburn at home. We saw Missouri beat Florida at home. But when they go on the road, they're like, But the thing about Georgia, I don't really trust Georgia. They're hyping up the Arkansas win. Arkansas has not been a good team on the road. I saw them get blown out the water multiple times on the road, Arkansas. And Georgia, personally, the biggest disadvantage they have here, and I think that's what the public is noticing, is Missouri's a much bigger team. Their average height is 79 inches and Georgia's I think is 77 point something. Missouri, one thing Missouri has a great advantage at is they're really good at attacking the paint, and Georgia has a weak paint defense. They're very block heavy, but they're not a good positional block team. They just like will run and try to block you, while Missouri has the bigs to prevent that. It's between like positioning yourself to defense and just trying to go for blocks. And then the biggest thing is Georgia's not that great of a 3 point shooting team. They'll have anomaly shooting nights, but Missouri is one of the best at protecting the paint. And Georgia is going to want to run up and down, like make it hectic. But Missouri is equipped to adapt to that, even though they like to run slow because they're a very efficient offense. And lastly, Missouri, I think the last 30 games are like 28-2 at home, the last 30 home games. I just think this is a really good buy low spot because I wouldn't be surprised by the time the game hits. I think the game's at like 6-7 MST or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Missouri is like a minus 140 favorite.
So you're telling me home field advantage, strength of schedule advantage, and the
Yep.
rebounding advantage, and you can get them. They were slightly underdogs. Now you can get them at pretty much at a pick 'em price.
Yep. Yeah, because they were minus 105 yesterday, plus 1.5, I believe, was minus 120 yesterday. Now it's minus 115 for them, and now they're minus 1.5. My AI says that Missouri should be minus 140. So I'll take that value.
Yeah, 60 something percent per chance of winning. I'll take
Yeah.
it too. I'm in on
Yeah.
this one. All right,
And
give us
and
your
and,
last
and
bet.
Georgia is a terrible defense, like I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you can't go on the road, you don't have the rebounding advantage. It's hard to pull off upsets.
yeah. The only way you can is, like I said, like I always double check. The best way for Georgia to actually win is they hit their threes, and they're not necessarily always good at hitting that. So it's yeah, like that's a risk I'm willing to take. If Georgia shoots 40% from three, anybody's gonna lose. So, but my last one that I have that is there's some maybes, but my last one I would say is, and this is my favorite one, guys. I'm going to say lock of the day. I'm willing to risk it. Miami, Ohio at Kent State. I'm tired of the disrespect from Miami, Ohio, guys. They're undefeated. They're 19-0. Their run is not going to end. They're a much better team than Kent State, but they still only have them, I think, at minus 112 money line from Miami, Ohio at Kent State. Miami, Ohio is literally a juggernaut. My AI literally said that Kent State has the slight rebounding advantage, right? But it doesn't matter because Miami doesn't miss that much. My AI literally said that. So the great thing about people thought Miami went to conference play. Their thing would dip because the strength of schedule was not good. Well, you know what? They're 7-0, and they're number one in effective field goal percentage, which factors in like twos for threes. They're 60.4% effective field goal percentage. They shoot the piss out of three. Kent State is not good at shooting the three. They're too opponent dependent on their points, which is a problem because what they get the points is the turnovers and they get their points from offensive rebounding and extra chance points. And Miami can substitute that. Kent State's also a smaller team technically. So I just think Kent State, I think Miami's strengths can attack Kent State's weakness. I don't think their offense can keep up with their offense because Miami's just a well-run unit. They're like watching the Warriors of the past. They don't make the wrong pass. They pass the ball to whoever they should. So
Yeah, listen, 63% of America agrees with you, and I'm inclined to agree. They are first Mid-American, facing the second. I think this is a good play. I'll definitely sprinkle on this and play along, and if I get a better price live, I'll just put more in.
yeah, it's a good live betting opportunity to see how the pace goes. It's just the reason why Miami's not bigger favorites because Vegas thinks the run's going to end, but I don't think the run ends here personally. I know Kent State's second, but I think eventually they'll lose, but I don't think it's here. I can't get over the fact that Kent State lost to Central Michigan a couple games ago. So
Yep. I mean, listen, my AI model also has them favored. They do agree with you as well. So I got one question for you because it's
yeah,
actually taking place across the street from me, literally across the street.
yeah.
Seton Hall at St. Joe's University. I live across from St. Joe's University. They're, I think, 10-point
Oh,
favorite.
St. John's. Yeah.
How, how are we feeling about that game? Any leans there? Like I kind of want to take the favorites, but it's a large spread.
So something I will say is I've been one of the biggest Seton Hall fan. I was a doubter in the beginning of the year, and then when I saw them play, I think Seton Hall. Correct me if I'm wrong. They played in the Vegas tournament, right? And then I saw them. I think it was a Vegas tournament, but I saw them beat NC State. I was like, okay, this is maybe like a legitimately good team, right? And their comeback kids, I know they lost. I think it was lost to Butler at home, which was a bad loss for them. They were stagnant, but the fact that they came down from 20 to UConn and almost won, they're just a very, very good defensive team. And I just don't really want to touch that spread personally because I think it's like 9.5. That's too much personally. It's just a very scary spread to take because Seton Hall doesn't usually ever get blown out. They don't usually lose by double digits. So it's just a scary spread both ways to take. Because St. John's has a capability either score a shit ton of points offense or they can go cold as shit. Like we saw when they faced Providence, they started off up by 15 and then they lost. So
Yeah, and thank you for correcting me. I said St. Joe's. I meant St.
oh,
John's,
you're good.
but I
There's
do
so many
live across
schools.
from St. Joe's. I was looking through the games. All right, yeah. Thank you so much. You got any last thoughts to bring us into the day?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we'll
So
recap all our best bets and
yeah. There's one more real quick that there's a couple more that I'll say. One is really quick. The Auburn at Ole Miss game, I'm debating. Auburn's not necessarily a great team on the road, but Ole Miss is not a good home field advantage. Ole Miss's strengths don't really take advantage of Auburn's weaknesses, and Auburn is 10-7 on the season, and I don't know if they can afford to lose even on the road against Ole Miss. They're very underperforming, and I think Auburn's ability to get to the foul line and Ole Miss fouling a lot could win. And then lastly, the one where my AI said there was 7 points of value on, and I'm even still debating sometimes I have to agree with my AI and put my personal side. They say the UCLA game, right? They say that the Purdue being minus 5.5 favorites at UCLA is bad. It should be UCLA minus 1.5. based off my AI model that I ran with everything, right? So they're saying it's 7 points of value. So I look through all the stats and stuff. So my AI says 7 points of value. So depending how the game goes, since the game is very late at night, I might have to do plus 5.5 UCLA.
Okay, good look. And then real
Purdue
quick,
scares me.
just recap your three best bets.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to Prince of Picks. He'll give us his NBA and UCL Champions League picks, and then I'll recap my two plays as well.
Sounds good. My three best bets. Some I like to do all money lines. Honestly, Wyoming money line, and then Miami, Ohio money line, and then oh my god, I forgot what the other one was. Wyoming money line, Miami, Ohio money line,
Missouri money line.
Missouri money line. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That makes sense. I forgot the one because I hate Missouri. So as a KU fan.
And also, when we finish this, definitely send me those three plays, and I'll repost it together with the recording when it comes out. Would love to, put those plays out on social media. Help you, help us. I think they're fantastic plays, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing them. Prince of Picks, hit us with your plays.
Yeah, all right, guys. Take notes because we got a lot here. So, first up, we're gonna go with the NBA. We're looking at the Wolves Jazz game total over 244.5. We're looking at the Raptors Warriors. I'm taking the Warriors here on a minus 3.5 spread. Then we're going to go over to the English Championship Division, where we're going to take Wrexham on a draw no bet, taking on Leicester City. Then we're going to head over to the Champions League, where we got a lot of plays here. Starting off, we're going to go with Man City, Bodo Glimt, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. Copenhagen, Napoli, I'm taking the under 2.5 in that one. Inter Milan taking on Arsenal. I like Inter Milan on a draw no bet. We got Olympiacos taking on Bayer Leverkusen. I'm going to take Olympiacos again on a draw no bet. We got Real Madrid hosting Monaco. I like Real Madrid here to win by margin. We're taking Real Madrid on a minus 1.5 spread. We have Sporting Lisbon hosting Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, -1 for me on the Asian line is the play for me. Then we got Tottenham going to be hosting Dortmund. I like Dortmund here on a draw, no bet. And then finally, we have Villarreal hosting Ajax. I'm taking a lot of goals in this one. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals.
Awesome. And I have two Champions League plays myself. The first, half cashed already. Club Brugge did score 2 goals already in their game. The second one on that is Man City over 1.5 goals to complete that parlay. Don't mind throwing it into the next play, which is Real Madrid, team total over 1.5, parlayed with Villarreal, team total over 1.5. I really hope everyone had a good day. Listen to this. I really appreciate everyone for coming on. Only Sports, hosted by Prince and SternBets, still working on a working title and description, but please find it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you can find podcasts. We are there. Any closing thoughts, Prince?
Nope, that should do it. As always, you guys, if you guys are looking for more plays from me, you guys can follow me on my X profile. That's at PrinceOfPicks10. Take a look at the pinned post on my profile. And you guys can find details on how to join the VIP channel for that. Other than that, man, learning to cash out some tickets and let's get some winners.
See, and that's why you're a professional, and you can find me. Just go on Google, look up SternBets, one word, SternBets. Please follow us tomorrow, and hope to see you soon.
Take care, guys. Thanks for joining.